Hello and welcome to the group booking webinar. My name is David Martin and I'll be guiding you through this session. And we're going to cover a couple topics here: making group bookings, adjusting allocations, and just some general tips and tricks to kind of make it go a little smoother, best practices. Please hold your questions to the end and we will get started. So let me show my screen here. Here we go. Okay, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to start off with just logging in, and we're going to make a group booking just to get things going. I already have a couple in there, but let's get started. So under the booking tab, we can go to the drop down for group bookings, but to make the booking, you want to go to the wizard, and that's what creates the group booking. The other link here would be for finding existing group bookings. So when we click on the bookings tab, I went to the specific link of group booking wizard, and we put an arrival date in. So why don't we just start with today, and we'll do number of nights. We'll set this one up. We'll just type in 5. It'll automatically adjust the departure date, and then we'll do a group name here. This will be our test group booking. Contact name, Martin. There I am. And group booking title, test group booking. So once you get your information in about the group, and you really want the group coordinator's contact information as well as a sort of title of the group. So the group name up top cannot be edited once it's put in. The group name title at the bottom can be edited later. So if you need to add an adjustment, it'll have the group name hyphen the group booking title. So they could be slightly different if you want them to be, or you can just make them the same. The rate plan, you always have to choose a rate plan, but this is the unique thing is no matter what rate plan you choose, because it's a group booking, you get the opportunity to adjust your rates in case you have special rates for groups. On the next page is where you allocate how many units you're going to give to this particular group. And what we offer is a hard allocation, which is a sort of hard block out. They're getting those units and they cannot be sold to anyone else. We also offer a soft block out, which essentially allows them to capture these so they're part of the group. Once a booking is part of a group, it shares its financials. It gets the special group rate if you have one. So that's what a soft allocation is. The difference is that with a soft block out, anybody can book it. It's still available online. It's still available on your tape chart. It's kind of a first come, first serve. Whereas a hard block out, it is only for the group. It shows as unavailable online and in the tape chart unless they're part of the group. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out. We'll just grab, why don't we do 13 of the queen rooms. We'll do a hard block out. So the number up top is letting you know how many units are available on that day of that type. So I'm going to go in the hard allocation box. I'm going to take all of them. I'm going to go 13. To save time, instead of going 13, 13, 13, I can just hit the fill button right here, and it puts that 13 all the way across for me. So this is a quick way to get your allocations in, especially if they're booking all units or a large quantity over a course of a time frame. The release to soft date. This is a date where if you have hard allocations in the future, say an August booking, you can let your group coordinator know that, look, 2 weeks prior to arrival, we're going to release those units that are unbooked. And that would allow you then to release them back into the soft allocation, first come, first serve block of rooms. So I'm going to go continue to the next page. And now is where it's going to let me choose a rate plan. So it will choose the rate that's defaulted that you chose, but it always lets you manually adjust it based on the group decision if you want to adjust rates for it. Let's just say since they're taking so many, we're going to go ahead and give them a 45 for all days, including the weekend. I hit the arrow, it just updates all the rates down. Kind of a quick way to do that. So now we're on the next page where you're just getting basic group information. Here you can put in address, zip code, etc., similar to a normal booking. And then a little lower, there's right here, the password. So we're going to just do the 1, 2, 3, 4 password. It's really key that you put a password in when you're making a group booking. This will allow you to then utilize the online group booking engine to allow that group coordinator to forward an email to all their guests, and they can book online. They don't have to call you to have you put the booking in. They can just do it themselves. So if you give them a password, it sort of creates that whole thing. They'll use the booking number and the password that you provide. The group coordinator can pass that email out to their all the members of their group. They can then log in and just book their own units, that whatever's left available. The show on rooming list is for that group booking engine if you want all the individual people to know who has already booked. So they, oh, you know, I don't want to book until Sarah books. You can leave it at no. It's defaulted to no. But if you want them to that's a conversation to have with the group coordinator. You want everyone to know who's already booked. And then you would just mark it yes if they do. Normal setting here, guest type and source, where they find you. Any kind of comments about the booking or the group. And then a key element here, not the guarantee buy, we'll just set that to cash, but is the charge to. With all groups, because the financials are intertwined, you'll want to make sure that you have confirmed with the group coordinator who's paying for this. Is the group master booking here going to pay for all the individual bookings that make up this group in one single payment? Or is each individual person responsible for their own stay and incidentals? That would be the individual is in charge of all the costs, or is it split? And that would be, is the group as a whole paying for all the accommodations, and then the individuals are paying for their incidentals. So we'll just leave this one right now set to the group. The group is going to pay for everything, and we will move on from there. Icon color, if you have more than one group at a time, it's nice to set them up with some different colors there. And we're going to go ahead and complete that booking. Once I complete the booking, it is now in the system. It can be found under the group booking link. From here, I can go ahead and add individual bookings to the group, or I can go back to the group tab and sort of make changes and update. Right here, I'm just going to close this, go back to the front desk. We can see because I made that booking for today, it pops up on top that it's an arriving group today. Just another quick way to get to that group. If I click that, it'll open up that group detail. If I go to group bookings, this here will also let me find that group. One recommendation I like to use is that if we click on the arrival date of today and sort by arrival date and then list it, you get all your future bookings laid out in front of you and you can choose. So it's a much better way to locate those bookings. So the one we just put in was our test group booking. So let's click on that. And then if I go to the room list, this is where I would then assign different rooms and room types. So from here we go number of guests, pick a room type. We only assign the queen for this, pick a room number. Now here's another thing. Oftentimes we'll have groups where they want, they just want to fill up the tape chart with the group. And that's a very common experience. Like they'll have, you know, let's say the volleyball tournament in. So they just put, you know, West Coast Volleyball Tournament as the group name. And they just want it to lay out and be on their tape chart saying West Coast Volleyball Tournament. So in this case, we'll call this one Test Group Booking, because that's what it is. We'll just go with first name. We'll just call it the same, Test. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a guarantee of cash, and I'm going to click this button right here. And what this will do is this assigns all the allocated rooms, all the hard allocations that have not yet been consumed, to this one name. So this will then be on the tape chart. It will fill in all the availables so that you see them there. So once I do that, you can see it just filled in all the remaining units with the same guest name. So that's one way to do it, and that's a quick way just to fill it up. Now, obviously, when individual people show up, you might want to edit that. So let's go look at the tape chart and see how that looks. So here's our group right now. It's all filled in. And let's say now you want to adjust their arriving and you want to put real names onto these group bookings. All you do is open it up and you hit Reset Guest ID. And now you can put in any name you want. off your drop down or just a new guest. Once that's in there, you can then save that booking. Oops, forgot to put a source on. And save. So again, just quick ways that we can go ahead and update information and let people know what's going on. So on the tape chart now, you can see the first one has a new name because I just updated it, and all the rest is still there. So because what happens is we have some properties, they'll make the group and you get the zeros because this is another group here. It's blocked out all the availability. It's a hard block out. So that availability is not there for online bookings or the front desk. They're going to get the overbooking message, right? They can't place a booking there. Some properties dislike that. They'd rather just see the group on there. And so you can do that auto assign. It'll fill them all in. And all you have to do is make sure you hit the reset guest ID when you want to change that. If you don't hit the reset guest ID, it's going to update all your bookings with that name to the name that you put in. So it's very critical. Reset that guest ID and then put in the new name. We'll do this one. There we go. And we'll pick a source, go newspaper, guest type, unknown, and save. Back to our tape chart, and you can see that there we're just slowly changing the names on those bookings. So that's a really rapid way to get those in there. So let's take a look at some other interesting things here. Let's go to this group booking. So I'm going to go back to my group bookings and do a quick search. Choose today's date, arrival date, and list. That'll list all your bookings in order. And I believe this will be the next one here, our Bob Barker wedding. So if we look at this one and we go to the room list, no individual bookings have been assigned to this yet. They have 11 of the hard allocation blockouts and none have been booked. So on this one, we can go ahead and just go ahead and add one. By not clicking the button, I'm only putting in one booking into this group, so there's just one started. Let's take a look at our tape chart. We can see that the booking is now in there. The rest are still zeros in that we've consumed the availability. We just don't see it on the tape chart until an individual room number is assigned. So right now it's laid out there. If I open up this booking, I can go straight to the booking details of the group or the individual, either one. If I go to the group details, we can verify this one does not have a password yet, but we'll go ahead and put our 1234 password in there. And again, you can choose anything you want, and I'll save that. What's nice about this is now if I wanted to send this letter out, I could send it to the group coordinator, and they could then forward it to all the members of their group, and they could then start to book online themselves. So if I go up to letters, it's a group booking engine letter. That allows them to book online. Generate that so you can see what that looks like. You get your logo in there. It's your information, and then this is the link that the guest would use, and this is their ID and password. The ID is going to be the confirmation number, and the password is going to be the password of your choice. So if I do this, and we'll just open this in a new window real quick. Let's go. Let's get back into here. Here's our number that we need for the ID. And then our password is 1234. And that should get us right into this booking, the Barker wedding. Now from here, so once this group coordinator passes this out, all their guests can, all their group members can log in and book this on their own. They don't need to be calling the property, tying up your front desk to add bookings to the group. So this is a great tool that we highly recommend you take advantage of. So this is just the add booking, sort of where they default to. There is information about the group, who coordinated it, the name of the group, the dates, that kind of thing. And information about your property. Right now, I'm on our demo property, but if you were in yours, it would have your property information there. Okay, so right here, I'll just go to adults. We'll pick this one. We'll go with cash, and the only guarantee buys that are available are the ones that you allow. I just have cash set on this one for our demo training purposes. And then it shows a little summary of what they've booked. They agree to your terms, and you complete it. And so now that booking is part of that Barker wedding. So if I go back and we look at our room list, you can see that that booking is now part of the group. If we look at our tape chart, we can see that he is in there. We're just going to find it. Let's see it. Let's take a quick peek. There's no room assignment. It's a simple thing. It's just when you're booking online, if you don't have auto-assigned room assignments, it will just book the type. So if I just go in here, I can then choose a room off the list right in the middle, or I can click room assignment and choose a room off this list. Either one, it's the same way. Put them in and save it. And there we go. Right there, right below it. So it's all there. The group booking process is in place. So let me just go over a couple other things here. When doing that group, a key element, I just want to kind of cover some important aspects here, is the charge to. You always want to make sure when you're making that new booking that you get all your charges going to either the group, the individual, or the split, where the group pays for the accommodation cost and the individual would pay for all the incidentals that they incur. The other thing is you can always choose a different color for your groups, especially if you do a lot of groups and you have multiples. You can have greens and blues and purples, just so you know they're part of different groups. So one more time, I'll just do a quick group booking. We can just walk through those steps, and I'll try and cover everything as possible. I'll go to the wizard. We'll do an arrival date. I don't need to pick off that. We will do the 5th for just a short one, 2 nights. We'll call this one an allocation group booking. So remember, once you make it, you choose a rate plan, but you always get a chance to edit that rate plan. The next page is where you choose how many units you want to block out for this group. The hard block out takes them out of availability. The soft block out allows them to be booked by anyone. It's a first come, first serve, but if they become part of the group, they would get that special group rate. So right here, we'll just do the queen rooms. We'll just do 10 of them. We won't even take them all. And then we'll do 10 of these up here. And then this one, I could use the fill. With only 2, it's easy just to type them in, but if I had 5 or 6 day stay, the fill saves a lot of time just by filling that across. If it's a group booking way in the future, I might want to set a release date, which would take these hard blockouts and move them to soft blockouts on the given date at night audit. On the next page, when I continue, I get to adjust my rates. We'll just set them all at 60, hit the arrow down, my custom group rate. They always want to know what type of guest and where they found you. I can fill in as much information about the group coordinator as I want. Key, get a password in there of your choice so that you can then send this email out to the group coordinator and they can then forward that to all the members of their group. It'll save you a bunch of time in the future. Another key element down here is that you're going to want to make sure that your charge to is set according to your discussion with the group coordinator. Are they going to pay it on a single bill, or is everybody paying their own way? Very important that you set this before you start putting bookings into the system. We'll leave this one set to individual, which means everybody pays their own way. They're just organizing it. We'll set our color here to orange, status confirmed, and we will complete it and go on to the next page. So now we get a little summary And from here, I can then go to the group booking tab and edit information about the group, or I can click here and go to the room assignment tab and start adding bookings to the group. Or I can just close it and be done with it. When we take a quick peek at it, we'll look at this room assignment tab. So here we are, we have 10 of these both types, none are allocated. I can fill them all in by using the assign all remaining hard allocations. If I click that and I choose across the top, it will then assign everything to the last name and first name that I put in. Just another, you gotta pay attention to that, it's a big time saver. So the letters are in here, and you have a group confirmation letter, you also have a group booking engine letter. The group confirmation letter, see, there it goes, it'll update. It's just a summary. It's just a summary of what's going on with the group. The title, name, the dates of arrival, the room list. If you filled it out all the way, it'll list everybody that's booked in. The group booking engine letter, this one is the one with the link that you can forward to the group coordinator with the password to log in for their guests. And that's followed by a little bit of summary information at the bottom. All those letters are editable. Letters are taken care of in the setup area, the parameters tab, and the letters link. Because they're group letters, you're going to want to make sure that you go to the group letter section, and you can see the group letters that are on this site right now. You can add more, and you just choose if you want it to be an individual letter or a group letter. Front desk gets me back to my front desk. Another thing that you need to be aware of with group bookings is the cancellation process. So this group booking is in the system. The room list is full. If I cancel this group booking, it will cancel all of the individual bookings that are part of this group. So it's very important that you know that. If I hit the cancel button, the whole thing is done. All the bookings are gone. Now, if I have a few people that are still coming, even though the group's canceling, you might want to split them off from the group. So we have an option here. If I open up that individual booking, it's part of this group, but I have this little split, and I can sever it from the group. Clicking that, it is now no longer part of the group. It is an individual booking. So if I go back to my tape chart, we can now see that this booking no longer has the group icon, and it is just an individual booking. So if I were to cancel the group, this booking would stay, whereas all the others would disappear, and the availability would come back. The other thing to remember with a group, let me jump back into this group as the example. If I cancel a booking in the group, it's going to affect, let me get here, oops, I'm not in the right spot. I need to get to the group master, excuse me, and go to the room list. So if I cancel one of these groups, these bookings that are in the group, that's going to affect my availability for this group. I've blocked out 13 units. I've booked 12 because we severed the one. There's still one left that can now go back in. But if I needed to cancel just one out of there, I could go down here and go cancel. And it wants to know, are you sure you want to cancel it? Yes. And then it's part of a group. Do you want to add the allocation back to the group so it remains blocked out? So what they're saying is that you have a booking and it's holding a room in this group. If I cancel it, I can open up that room to be sold by anyone, or I can keep it blocked out and reserved for the group. So if I say okay, it keeps it blocked out and reserved for the group. That allocation stays with the group. If I say cancel, it puts that availability of that canceled booking back into general availability, and anybody can book that unit. So it's just another element that you should be aware of and know what you're trying to do when you cancel that out of a group. And you can put your information on and then save that you canceled it. So let's take another look at the group search. Arrival date, today, by arrival, list. So we've got this booking here. I believe we have 2 reservations in here. Let's look at our room list. If I want to just fill the rest out, I just choose a unit and it doesn't matter what unit or what room, because I'm going to fill them all. I'm going to use this auto assign and finish it out. I'm just going to put this one as Barker family, and I'm going to complete it. And so that will finish this group. The remaining 11 allocations will now get assigned with the name Barker family. So those are all filled in, and when I look at my tape chart, my group is now full with the Barker family. And as people come in and I want to update it to the individuals, again, we just click on it, go on our booking details, and we click reset guest ID, and I could change it to, say, Joel Barker, and save it. So simple tricks, good tips. It'll keep you moving swiftly through your group booking process. Are there any questions? You can just add them to the chat if you'd like. Oh, and there's one. So just a quick question on editing the allocations. So when you're in a group booking, let's go. So there's a link here to the group. So I'm going to link into the group master. This is the master booking that holds all those units. It's just a holding vessel, if you will. It has its own folio. So if they are on a group pay for everything, you would use this group master folio to deal with it. But the edit tab of the group master is also your allocation screen. And this would allow you to add allocations or remove allocations and sort of update that. You shouldn't need to do much, but occasionally you do if you need to add some or remove some. Right now it's letting you know how many are left, and we've consumed all of these. There's 0 left. And here we've allocated out 11, thus leaving 0 left, because those hard allocations count as essentially holds or bookings. So there's none left. So I could add some more of a different type, or I could reduce what I'm holding in the hard allocation category. So that's how you would edit that. You would just readjust what you wanted to do there. Also, if you needed to change the dates of the booking, you could do that on this edit tab as well, yes. Just choosing a new arrival date would update the other information. Okay, so a good point there on that reset guest ID. Another question here. It does change name. If someone books multiple rooms, so you have the same name on several bookings, just like in a group booking, it really is no different. Because in a group booking, once you put that booking into the room list, these are all individual bookings. They're just linked to the group for the financial aspect of it. So you can choose where the accommodation charges go and the incidental charges go. But they are still individual bookings. So if I click on any one of the individual bookings, and this would be even if they weren't part of a group, and I hit reset guest ID, it severs the name from the booking, and it lets me put in a new name. So if you have one person call up and just make 3 bookings, you can put them all in with the same name. You don't have to make a group booking out of it because it's only 3. And then as people call in and say, oh, my friend Heidi booked a room for us, can I put my name and give you my credit card? Absolutely. Just find one of Heidi's bookings, click reset guest ID, put in the new guest information. The booking stays. All you're changing is the top section right here. It just is the guest information section that gets updated when you hit reset guest ID. So it's just as simple as that. Any individual booking can be reset to a new guest ID. If you wanted all 3 to update, you would not hit reset guest ID, and you would update the name, and it would update all 3 that way. All right, I'm glad that worked, Julie. I don't see any other questions coming in, and we've answered a couple. If you do have any follow-up questions or you need help with some of those letters, please use our support area right here. You can hit on the help button, and you can put in either a question on how to do it, or you can log in and submit a support ticket with us. If you've never logged into our support system, you'd want to hit register the first time. You just put in your email and your name, and it lets you put support tickets into us. Thank you, and have a great afternoon. And make sure to use those booking engines for the group. It'll save you a ton of time. Adios, everyone. Bye-bye.